guys, Corey here with Renegade Jeeps. Today's video I'm bringing you is how to do the pinch seam mod in the two front wheel wells of your Jeep Renegade. All it does is help you get a little extra clearance out of your front wheel wells. I know there's a few other videos out there of it. I'm going to show you how I like to do it. It's very simple, easy. It doesn't take it very much time at all. So, let's just go ahead and jump into it. First thing I do is I get all my tools together. The tools you will need for this job are a 10mm socket and ratchet, a Phillips screwdriver. You'll need a couple different hammers depending on, whatever works best for you. I was using this and it was working great. I needed a little more muscle, so I grabbed this bigger one. You will need a grinder and a caulking gun with seam sealer in it. So you will need that stuff. So, all right, so let's get back over to the Jeep and we'll start tearing into this thing. I got it jacked up. I got a jack stand underneath it for safety. Whenever you do that, you want to make sure you get a jack stand under. I'm not saying the Jeep's going to fall, but in case it does, it's there. It won't accidentally hurt the Jeep or hurt yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and buzz the tire off. Get the tire off. Make sure you don't lose any of the lug nuts. And we'll just set this off to the side. Alright everybody, and this is the point where you will need a Phillips screwdriver and a 10mm ratchet with wrench. Alright everybody, the reason we have a 10mm wrench is for these little guys right here. They're like these little plastic nuts. You don't want to over crank them, but you got to take out this 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. You need to take those 4 out, and then from there, I don't know if you can see it, I forgot to spray out the wheel well before I started. There's these Phillips screws. There's one here, one here. There's one right underneath the bottom here, right behind this little mud flap. There's one, and there's one over here. That makes 3 Phillips screws. Yeah, there's only 3 Phillips screws. And then finally, I don't know if you can see them in there, but there's this little plastic push clip. And that will let the fender well pull out. So I'll go ahead and get that stuff popped out, and then we'll get the fender well out and we'll jump back in. Alrighty guys. As you can see, I got the inner fender well out, and now, as you can see, it exposes the pinch seam. So I'll mark some lines so it's nice and easy to see where exactly I'm going to be cutting with my grinder. But all we're doing is we're going to be cutting some nice little relief cuts in this thing every so many inches, and then we're going to be bending it in. I'll show you all the process of how I'm going to do it. I should probably mention, guys, some of your Jeeps will have a plate behind this inner fender piece. Mine doesn't. Mine's a 2015. Mine's one of the first productions. So anything past that, there's a little safety support plate right in here. If you have that, no big deal. You just need to get a piece of flat steel or scrap steel just to, once you remove the plate and bend this over, you use that piece of flat steel to help keep that up and out of the way. So that's all. I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of that. Don't be surprised if you pull the fender out and you have a plate there. Alright everybody, I just got done cutting. As you saw, here are all the marks I cut at. They're like little 1-inch increments. I was just kind of eyeballing. They don't have to be exact. It's just easier to bend when you break up the cuts like this. And there was a point piece down here. I just, I cut in and I cut down. That's going to be the easiest thing to do, because if not, you bend it over, you're going to have this piece of metal back here. So you can just get rid of that guy entirely. So I'm going to go ahead and start bending these over now. I just pounded down the pinch seam where I cut. It's laying flat. As you can tell, yes, some of them do pop open. That's not a big deal, because we're going to put seam sealer over them, so you don't have to worry about that. But they're all laying over. They're pretty much laying flat. Yes, a couple of them are still popped up a little bit, but they're flatter than the actual seam itself up here. That's sticking out a lot. This is sticking out just a little bit. You ain't got to worry about this, because this never makes it to your tire. It's this stuff that interferes with your turning radius. So now that we got that all trimmed up, I'm going to go ahead and get some seam sealer on there, and I'll show you guys how to wrap this thing up. Alrighty guys, I already went ahead and did the passenger side pinch seam and already sealed it up with the seam sealer. Just, you know, kind of save a step. But this side's already tacked up and dried, and, you know, the stuff I bought said it took about a half hour. You know, it's still a little bit, but I can paint it within a half hour. That's all I'm really after right now, is to be able to paint it. I'm gonna let it sit and dry some more. But all I got here is just a spray can full of bed liner, and I'm just gonna go to town. So I'm just gonna go nice and heavy on it. Make sure I cut all. You know, just pretty much 100% of it covered. That's what you're really after here. You know, because you do take a grinder to it, and I understand seam sealer is a protective coating, but it doesn't hurt to have this extra step of precaution. I mean, I live in a lot of salt, road grime, stuff like that. So to me, this is just peace of mind in my book. So that's the whole reason I'm doing it. But yeah, I'll get this side painted up. I'll paint the other side up, and we'll wrap this up soon. Hey guys, as you can see, I got my bed liner spray put all over the sealer. That's just an added layer of precaution. The sealer does cover over all the spots that we cut, and it does cover over the seam, so you're not going to get anything in there. But like I said earlier, peace of mind for me just to know I have extra protection underneath here. I live up in the north. I have a lot of salt up here. It just eats cars away, so I just wanted to have a little extra protection on here. So but yeah, I got it all sprayed on there. It's dried up nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and get the inner fender back inside, so that way I can go ahead and start buttoning this thing up. I'll jump back in once I get the inner fender back in. You know, all you gotta do is reverse the steps, taking it out, reverse them to put it right back in. Very simple. So I'll jump right back in once I get it all back together. Alrighty guys, so as you can tell, the fender liner's back into place. Everything's tightened up, ready to rock and roll. I do got my new rims on. I'm very excited about this. I think they give my Jeep a really, really nice look. I am running a wider tire. Tall, I'm running about the same height tire, but just wider. So it was rubbing before I did the pinch seam mod. It was rubbing just a tiny bit. It was more of an annoyance for me. Like it would have fit, but to turn to full lock, you know, all the way one way or the other, I heard it rubbing, and that was annoying. So I went ahead and just did the mod. It was easier. You know, it only took me about an hour total, and that was with letting the sealant dry. But now I got an extra 2-3 inches, if not more, of clearance in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing down off the jack, get the other 4 wheels on, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. This is Corey with Renegade Jeeps.